18 started out as a small synth pop song I wrote in my bedroom, very unpolished, unmixed, and imperfect. Shortly after releasing it back in 2022, it kind of faded into the background up until this module's assignment, where I picked it back up for a re-recording, this time in the studio. Re-recording this song also meant I could implement new techniques I had learned since then, both ones I learned from this course and ones I learned on my own time. Before getting into the studio, I decided whether I wanted to make it a completely new song or just recreate it but to a higher quality. I ended up liking the sound of the original a lot, so despite its mistakes, I kept that sound and I just decided to add on to it. During the recording process, I ended up bringing Karis on board because along with her ability to play guitar and bass coming in handy, it also felt right to have another person in that room with me just to help me get like a general idea on what sounded good and what didn't, and then having a second opinion on that. She was also really useful in the control room for when I was recording in the practice room. It really saved me loads of time. We started the track off by recording in some MIDI synth pads to help set the groundwork for everything else. Very ambient, very atmospheric, as you can tell. We decided to focus on the drum track, choosing a patch that we liked for each part of the kit, attempting to make it sound as realistic as possible with effects and EQ, as I didn't really want to record live drums since the process was so tedious. I did, however, record piano live because I feel that it was a pretty prominent instrument in the original song. So Karis and I set up two SM58s to go directly into the piano to get the clearest sound as possible, as well as flipping the panels on the wall to get a reflective sound. Bass and guitar were probably the easiest to record because they were plugged directly into the desk, which then goes straight into the DAW, with effects and reverb changing the final sound rather than the room, the acoustic, and the mics we were using. We ended up using a XM8500 dynamic cardioid vocal microphone via direct input into the desk to record vocals for a ghost track, and we ended up liking the results so much that we used that mic for the final vocals too. After the recording was all sorted and we got all the takes we needed, I started mixing. I used EQ on most of the tracks present just to make each instrument a little brighter in sound, as well as a lot of reverbs for the softer instruments that were more focused on atmosphere rather than carrying the song. For example, you'll notice a lot of reverb on the piano, the MIDI synths, and the strings, and especially the vocals. There were also compressors on pretty much every track. For example, I had a compressor on the bass guitar and had it sidechained to the kick so that every time the kick would come in, the bass guitar would kind of duck under it, making the lower ends less muddy. I made sure there was enough room for each instrument to shine, panning each instrument respectively, and double tracking most of the instruments and having each channel of them panned hard left and hard right to help that instrument feel bigger and more grand. The instruments I made loudest though were the vocals and the kick, because I feel that the kick keeps the beat, the vocals are the main performer, and the rest of the track are there to just fill the emptiness behind it. As for automation and editing, I used a lot of cutoff, especially on the MIDI tracks, as well as volume to fade the song in and out. This all comes together to create a final mix that I think sounds very professional. Three elements I'm proud of in this mix is how well the vocal harmonies came out. I think they add some much needed backing to the lead vocals. I'm also proud of how good the strings ended up sounding despite being just MIDI. It's difficult to make it sound like a real string section, and I think I did well there. And I'm also proud for how well splicing the best takes and sections of the piano worked, because they don't even sound spliced. That just sounds like one long take, and it's really cool. If I were to do this project again, I'd focus on giving the song a little bit more variety over anything else. I feel that even though it's shorter in length now, giving it less time to drag, it still sometimes feels a bit directionless. I also would have liked to record drums live next time. As much as I don't like mixing them, they could give the song some more authenticity and make it sound a bit more natural.